Hey everybody, it's Chris Gorman again with Gorman Residential and Keller Williams Preferred Realty, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about how markets work. So I know that might sound like a funny topic to be talking about in relation to what I do for a living. Um, I often tell people the real estate market is not unlike any other market. It is a free market. And the analogy that I often use is the stock market. If you bought Apple at $100 and today it's trading at $500 and you want to sell your stock, guess what the market's willing to pay for it? $500. If on the other hand you bought something at $500 a year ago and today it's only worth $100 and you have to sell it or want to sell it, guess what the market's willing to pay for it? $100. So all that is to say that something is only worth what it's worth in relation to the market. So whatever the market's doing, in relation to real estate, one of the things we often hear is, well, I don't want to lose money, and I bought this and I paid this for it, and then we did X, Y, and Z and spent this, so we really need to get that out of it. So when we sell our house, we need to sell it at X. And that's very common. I'm not faulting or blaming anybody for taking that line of thinking, because what that line of thinking is if I add a dollar to a dollar, it's worth $2. And when you're talking about currency, yeah, that very well may be true, but you also are forgetting the fact that inflation happens and money is relative to other currencies. It's a dollar plus a dollar equals $2, but $2 might be worth less than that original dollar was, depending on when you were doing that. If your first dollar was 100 years ago, it's your $2 today is worth a lot less than that $1 was 100 years ago. So it's all relative. The market is only willing to give you what the market says it's worth at any given time. And 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever house you have was worth more or less now, depending on when you bought it, basically, whether you bought it 5 years ago, whether you bought it 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and what the market was doing at that point in time. Okay, so markets do this, right? The markets always go up and down. They're cyclical. And whether you buy here or buy here is going to dictate how much profit you make when you sell it in relation to what the market's doing when you sell it. So the market does not care what you paid for whatever it is that you're selling. It doesn't care how much you invested in it or how much money you spent fixing it up. It only cares, what do you have to sell and what else can I buy for the same amount of money? That's it. So if you have a house to sell, and your neighbor has the same house, and your neighbor has granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, and hardwood floors, and you have the same house except you have carpet and you have original white appliances and you have Formica countertops, your house is not worth as much as their house is, because if a buyer is forced to choose between house A and house B and they're the same price, except house A has all these features that house B doesn't have, they're going to choose house A every time. And so what does that do to house B? Well, in order to get that buyer to want to buy house B instead of house A, the price has to go down. So that's how the markets work. They're always looking at, what do you have to sell and how does it compare in relation to what else can I buy? That's a real simple, fundamental way of looking at it, but when we look at pricing homes and what homes are worth, we always have to bear in mind that the real estate market is just like any other market, and it doesn't necessarily care what happened in the past. It only cares about what's happening today, and what is available today that your house might be competing with, and how does your house fit into that competitive situation, and how can we make sure that your house is the one that gets bought in the field of 10 or 20 that might be available to a buyer. This is very high level, broad overview. Everything is very specific when we look at individual properties and individual neighborhoods, and certainly if I'm helping you evaluate your house, we're going to talk much more in depth about your specific property and the value of it and why. But I thought it would be helpful just to give kind of a general overview of how the real estate market works in relation to other markets. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions at all, give me a call, 919-670-3005 or chris@gormanresidential.com. Thanks and have a great day.